Good morning and welcome to the new episode of Dr. Lamba's Awakening Call. The new year has dawned, but politically the situation in the world is not fine. The fear of recession and the continuing wars coupled with inflation are creating a fear that causes in the people. And as normal human beings, for many of us, the start of a new year focuses our minds on goals and the plans for the future. It's a time for the fresh start. And unfortunately, the same mindset which affects a common human being should also be adopted with the government. Do they do that? Do they take care of what the endemic issues are and what are the core issues that are going to face the country? The worst of the pandemic is behind us, but then the danger of its variations are there. And the soaring prices, economy, unemployment, they are all camouflaged, covered by empty promises which mean nothing. The Prime Minister, at the height of economic looming disaster, rushes to have vacations. Never has any head of the government done that. Has the government thought of solving the key problems that have hobbled the economy and the health of the nation? As a matter of fact, no. You go to the hospital and the wait times are horrendous. So where do we begin? There are a number of insurmountable problems facing Canadians. Skyrocketing debts, falling living standards, and a country that is governed by a bloated bureaucracy, as I told in one of my comments earlier. The bureaucracy in Canada is very top heavy, and the tax system is unfair and overly complicated. The rising rates of obesity, childhood obesity and disease, they are threatening. We talked of how bad the hospital management is and how the Medicare is suffering. So there are many issues facing the Canadians, and these issues are a grave threat to the future of our country, both health-wise, food-wise, and prosperity-wise. This country, which is a resource-rich country in the world, which has 20% of the world's pure drinking water, is suffering and is in the danger of a collapse. These problems have a horrendous bearing on our lives, especially the lives of the young Canadians. One fact we ignore is that all these problems are interrelated. Consider, for example, two of the core issues, the national debt and the health and the well-being of the Canadians. The interest we pay on national debt each year is about two-thirds of what the government annually spends on health care. Imagine how many new and badly managed hospitals could be built with a 27 billion per year that gets eaten up by the interest payment on the debt. Every year, Canada is paying $27 billion only as interest on the debt. So if that is not paid, if the debt can be wiped out, this 27 billion would absolutely meet the needs of the Canadians as far as the health and the well-being is concerned. And imagine, just a fraction of that amount could ensure every Canadian child would never go to the school hungry. We could provide them nutritious meal. You might be thinking, well, in Canada nobody goes hungry. Look at the number of homeless. Look at the number of the people who depend on the food stamps. Have you ever seen the food banks, how they are flooded with the people? So the gap between the people is too much. As a matter of fact, a large number of the Canadians are forgotten Canadians. Those who depend on the food banks are those people. And at the same time, a number of Canadians believe that our economic system is no longer functional. It is failed. Failed them, failed the country. Because it's not functioning for the benefit of all citizens. It's tilted in the favor of a few entitled people. And look at the divide between the wealthy and the working class. And a sense that the capitalist system is broken and more money is held by fewer people. As a result, hunger to create a fairer, more equitable and sustainable society has never been greater. And while our society enjoys protecting human rights and freedom, that's great. The whole Canadian society protects human rights. And the freedoms that you have got to be there. But we absolutely ignore economic rights. The rights of the people to accumulate wealth through profit sharing. We have to fight to preserve the free enterprise. Because without free enterprise, there is no free society. So unless the government, the society and the people act this year, ahead of the time, we'll continue to see headlines about the financial struggle for a growing number of Canadians. We'll continue to see an economy which sputters, and we'll continue to witness further deteriorating health care. But it doesn't have to be that way. We are in the age of self-driving cars, space travel, artificial intelligence, augmented intelligence. We are in a country which is blessed with incredible natural resources. There is no reason why we can't build a better country and enjoy a better future, provided we take care of those core issues. So what are the core issues that the government must focus on? The leaders must focus on and pay attention. First, create a healthy environment for our children. That's a prime thing. The future of any country depends on the children. So the first thing, if we want to have a healthy and prosperous society, is that's a core issue. Create a healthy environment for the children. Second core issue, restore the manufacturing sector to boost living standards. Our manufacturing sector is too poor and too weak. We need to diversify it. We need to strengthen it. Third, most important, pay the national debt and save $27 billion of interest payment only today. Because if you don't decrease it, it will go on increasing, and 27 billion would be 30 billion, 35 billion, 40 billion. And the result would be your absolutely vainglorious policies of helping others and starving your own people would be suicidal. Next, slash regulations and red tape. If you remember, I had a series on my Facebook about the stupid laws. Our laws need to be rewritten. I remember having discussions with Prime Minister Kitchen at one time that we need to have a red tape Commission. The commission should study all the laws and weed out the laws which are unnecessary, strengthen the systems, and ensure that regulations are reduced. An easiest way to set up business should be there. Next, take the chains of the small business. The biggest problem is all these regulations affect the small businessmen much more than they affect the bigger units. So you have to take care of the small businesses and make them practically unregulated. Then give Canadian workers a share of the profit they help to produce. These minimum wages are okay, nothing wrong with that. But are they sufficient? Why should the creator of wealth not have more share? I'm not against the profits, but I'm against blood-sucking profits. That has to be done. Then our tax system, as I said, has to be recreated. The core issue would be create a simple tax system that every Canadian can understand and adhere to. So these 7 issues, if they can be sorted out, they'll go a long way, because other issues are dependent on these issues. If there's a more easier small businesses, the economy would improve. And when the economy improves, people will be happy to pay taxes. Government, and when the national debt is removed, money would be available for the infrastructure needs. Look at the situation on 401, for example. It's terrible. Look at the situation in the mall. It's terrible. Look at the hospital. It's shame. Actually, it's a shame to call our health system a real health system. So all these need more money, definitely, but then reduce this bloated bureaucracy, this leadership. You've got to reduce it. Lean and mean should be the administration and the bureaucracy. If we do that, you would see that other things would take care of themselves. If you have surplus money, you are saving, say, $27 billion only on the interest payment, your problem is solved. You can look after your infrastructure, you can look after your bridges, roads, highways, transportation, healthcare, schools, everything. You see, we are penny wise, pound foolish. We adopt populist measures and ignore the reality. Our tax system, look at the new carbon tax. It's practically going to kill the Albertan economy. And Alberta is the economic force which has been sustaining Canadian economy for a long time. But does anybody care? No. As it does not suit their political purpose. I believe that Canadians should come together in support of a set of solutions that would create a healthier and more prosperous society. And addressing each one of these problems, say even one of the problems which I have talked to, would set up us on a path to prosperity and well-being. And if we take care of all these 7 core issues, we'll make a society which is just, prosperous and healthy. That's most important, is healthy. Healthy economy-wise, healthy physical health-wise, and then what follows is the mental health. That will automatically, if you are easy, then you don't have the stress and your mental health also improves. We need common sense solutions. And these common sense solutions are very important to address these core issues. But before we have that, the one thing most important is that the political leadership has to understand these core issues and devise ways and means. And that stand-off attitude, hands-off attitude, is not appropriate. Tackling these core issues will usher in an economic boom, and that boom shall create more wealth and more opportunity for this country. And we shall have a society the like of which we cannot envisage today because of our issues, which blind us to the fact that we have the capability to be one of the best nations in the world, and yet we are not, simply because we don't address the core issues. And if we do that, we shall be envy of the world. Thank you.